Hello guys, welcome back. This is not a funny topic. Today I want to talk about something serious. Endfield. Is Endfield dead? And I want to be clear right away. This is not a hate video. I still like the game, I still have it downloaded, and I still do play it from time to time. But right now, more and more people are looking at the numbers and the discussion around the game and the current state of the community, and questions are asking themselves, what is actually happening with Endfield? So before we get into all of that, if you are enjoying this kind of video discussions, make sure you subscribe now, because this is the kind of topics I'll be covering as the games continue to evolve. Now let's talk honestly about Endfield. The first thing to say is that this conversation is not coming out of nowhere. A lot of players are seeing revenue estimates go down, downloads dropping, and the community feeling quieter than it did at launch. That does create a concern, but someone may ask, that is how just the game goes. The games usually die quietly. Yes, that is true, but not for a game that was released almost 7 months ago. When a game launches with a lot of hype, people expect it to stay longer for a while. But when the noise started fading, the first reaction is usually panic. And that panics turn into the same question every time. Is the game dying? But there is a difference between losing launch hype and being dead. And that difference is a big one. Right now, Endfield is hitting its first real test. The honeymoon phase is over. That means players have already tried the story, the combat, and the factory systems. The banners, which sucks, the event, and the basic gameplay loop. So now the game has to prove it can hold the attention after the initial excitement wears off. That is always the hard part for a live service game. OG Arknights is still successful to this day. For Endfield, people are quitting, and getting people to try the game is one thing, getting them to stay is something else entirely. And that is where Endfield is being judged in this video. The first thing I want to talk about, revenue and downloads. A big reason people are nervous is the mobile trend data. The estimates people have been pointing to show the clear drop in revenue and the downloads compared to launch. Now, that does not mean the full business is collapsing. These numbers are not the complete picture. They usually do not include everything, especially PC revenue, PlayStation revenue, web shop purchases, and other direct payment channels. So this should be treated as mobile trends, not the total financial health of the game. That said, that trend still matters, because even if it's only part of the picture, it still shows that mobile momentum is weaker than it was at launch. And let's be real, most gacha gamers are casual players who usually play on mobile, and those are the biggest part of the gacha community. So if those parts of the community drop from the game entirely, then the game will reach end of surface early. This is where the bigger problem starts. Now the second thing I want to talk about is the content loop. This is where the bigger picture starts. Endfield does have content. That part is important to say. Yes, the story may feel slow and sometimes a little bit boring at some parts, but it still has nice story. There are story updates, event challenges, and challenge modes, login rewards, and other systems that are typical in any gacha game. So it is not fair to say that there is nothing to do, but for many players that loop does not feel strong enough than other games. A lot of content feels temporary or checklist based. You log in, spend stamina, clear the event, claim the reward, and maybe do a challenge or two, and then you're done. And once that happens, the game does not always give you a strong reason to keep you playing. This is dangerous for any live service game, because once the player stops saying, what should I build next? They will definitely start asking, why should I even log in? And retention starts slipping. The second problem is endgame. This is where the convo gets really complicated. Endfield needs strong, repeatable content, but the answer is not just copying another game's combat mode and pasting it in. Endfield has its own identity already built. The factory system, automation, construction, supply chains, exploration, and resource planning are all what makes Endfield unique. So the endgame should probably build around that identity instead of pretending the game is something else. A strong endgame does not have to be identical to any gacha game out there. It just needs to give players a reason to keep optimizing, experimenting, and returning. The third problem, and the biggest problem in the game, is the character pull monetization. If players can clear most of the content with one strong team and it does not have to offer you any very difficult content, then a dangerous question starts to appeal. Why should I even pull? But that does not mean the game should become pay to win. Nobody wants content that forces you for the newest characters just to play. Not the whales, not the free-to-play players, not even the little spenders. And correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I don't think a whale wants to play a game where most of the communities are whales. But there is a difference between mandatory power creep and meaningful character design. New characters should always feel exciting because they open up new strategies, not because they are the only way to participate. There has to be a balance that Endfield needs to find. Now for the gacha system, I want to talk about what really annoys me. 80 pulls for a soft pity for a 6-star character? That is tough. And 120 pull for a guaranteed? That is even tougher. But the biggest problem is the pull pity does carry over between banners, but the 120 pull guaranteed resets each banner. That's what pisses me off. If you have the worst of lucks, you can never guarantee that you want this character and actually get them. But for me personally, I decided not to pull on the character banners ever. Maybe once or twice. But my luck has been and the fact that I've seen people talk about in Reddit is doing single pulls actually is more worth it, because it will prevent you from wasting extra pulls past a successful drop, and saving maybe even one pull difference would help you more than you can even imagine. And there are also different currencies, permits, standard banners, limited banners, pity rules, weapon mechanics, and special banner behaviors. They all add up fast. That was a long breath. And when a system feels more complicated, players get nervous. Even a generous game can feel bad if people do not immediately understand how the gacha system works. That created anxiety for me at the start when I wanted to pull. So imagine other players who are new to the gacha community. The creator side of things also matters. This is easy to overlook, but this is a huge part of how live service games actually stay alive. Creators keep games visible through guides, reaction, lore videos, banner breakdowns, and batch discussions. But set creators also need something to talk about. And that is exactly what forced me to make this video, because for the last couple of weeks, all my videos were either Wuthering Waves, NTE, HSR, and general gacha discussions. And I've been trying to squeeze my head to make a video about Arknights. I just couldn't. If there is not enough news, not enough roadmap clarity, and not enough meaningful discussion points, then of course fewer videos will be made. And when fewer videos are made, the game will feel quieter. When the game feels quieter, the community feels smaller. Smaller community means that the game starts to seem like it's losing its momentum. Losing momentum means losing money. Losing money is a whole cycle. That cycle can hurt the game, even if the actual player base is very much alive. Is it doomed though? No, I don't think Endfield is doomed. Not at all. The game still has a strong foundation. The factory system is unique. The world has potential. The characters are interesting. The combat can be fun. The game has already proven that it can attract attention. So it is not a dead game yet. It is very much under pressure. Massive pressure. Since the launch hype is over, the next phase is about retention, clarity, and long-term trust. If the developers want Endfield to keep growing, they need to focus on a few key things. From my opinion, those things would be stronger, repeatable endgame content, better pacing between updates, which is 49 to 51 days between patches, which is longer than our standard 6-week cycles. It needs to fix its gacha system, which will give more meaningful reasons to build new characters, and they need more constant communication with the game. Go make leaks, because the scary part is not that people are complaining. The scary part is when they stop caring enough to complain. And right now, people are still saying, I want this game to be better. Even I am. Because even though I have not finished the main story yet, and I'm not doing dailies, I'm not doing anything, I find myself logging in maybe every 3 days just to play with the factory. So my honest take is this: Endfield is not dead. I wish it does not reach that point. It's in that awkward phase where the game has to prove it can become more than just a strong launch title. If the developers make the right moves, Endfield still has a chance to become something special. If they do not, then the game may end up with a passionate core audience, but less mainstream momentum than it had at launch. And that is really the heart of the issue. I still want the game to succeed. I still think it can, not just with the banners and the temporary events. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think that the concern around Endfield are serious? Or do you think that people are overreacting? And what should a developer fix in the game? Drop it in the comments. And also don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next Endfield updates.